Hello, my name is Jason Leach, and this is my presentation on well-being. I will discuss some of the topics we read about in studies this semester, but I'm also going to discuss some of my opinions and personal experiences with well-being also. A little bit about myself. I'm married, two kids, one boy, one girl. I work as a family home provider, and for any of y'all that don't know what that is, there's a I take care of two individuals with developmental disabilities. They live with me full time. They go to a day program during the day, and so I get to work from home. So I'm primary caregiver of the kids. Wife, she works outside of the house. So my day's full of running kids to school, doctor's appointments for kids and the clients I take care of, including myself. So my day stays pretty busy, nonstop. So you can imagine a little bit of stress starts to build up and can affect your happiness. So on to the next slide here. Um, we learned early in this course in one of the first studies we read about subjective well-being, and that's kind of how we judge our own level of happiness because we're, of course, our own best judge of that. We all can have our own definition of happiness and what it causes us to be happy. As we get older, we start to realize that some of the stuff we thought would make us happy, in fact, may not cause us be happy at all or even have an opposite effect. I have never known money to buy anybody any type of happiness. Money can buy a lot of things, nice cars, nice house, some of that stuff's probably not gonna make you happy or won't make you happy long. Money can help support, your family and make life a little bit more comfortable for you, but it just don't guarantee happiness. When we were younger, especially me, I can remember, kind of wishing our life away. Can't wait till I turn 16, get my license, drive, be gone all the time. 18, I'll move out of my parents' house, or turning 21, buy that first alcoholic beverage, stuff like that. You thought, man, I'm gonna be happy when I can do that. And you might have been for probably a short period of time, but it just didn't last. Many people also feel that marriage and having kids will cause happiness and feel like they need to hurry up and rush and do it. And to me, that's a real important life decision that just shouldn't be rushed because that can affects long-term happiness, not just yourself, but, if there's kids involved and everything else. Yeah. We learned in another study that marital well-being and personal well-being kind of go hand in hand together. This, like I said earlier, this is an important decision that should not be rushed. If your spouse is, say, for example, if your spouse is constantly, just negative emotions, just life getting her down, work, whatever, kids, some of that negative emotion is going to fall on you and vice versa. And I'm sure we all heard at some point in time, people think about trying to have a kid, try to save a troubled marriage, and to me, that's just a real bad idea. If I think you should probably try to dig deep and try to figure out what them troubles are instead of involving another human into it. And because if more than likely, in my opinion, that's never going to be fixed. And then you're bringing this child into a negative environment. Because anybody that has kids knows that as joyful of an experience as it is, it comes with quite a bit of stress. Also, you're responsible for a whole new life, and that's just something. Like I said, it's one of my happiest moments of my life was the birth of my children. But tell you what, getting to do this every day, as far as trying to balance life and all that, it can get quite stressful. So just make sure you're ready and prepared for it. These next few slides, I'll talk about some information that I found more interesting than some of the studies and stuff we talked about in class. some of them being relationships, the relationship between well-being and physical activity, and the level of social support plays as being one of the biggest keys to positive well-being. You know, physical activity, I knew that, working out and maintaining a healthy lifestyle is going to help combat some diseases, but I found it interesting to know that just minor physical activity can improve health conditions and help combat disease. I always assumed that you'd have to engage in, workouts daily to see noticeable changes in any of these diseases or even cancer. Um, I've had issues with weight myself and anxiety, and have been working to improve, help control both, and being more physically active has helped with both. My anxiety has been, pretty well under control for, quite a bit of time now. Except here recently, had a job change that kind of affected well-being there for a while. One company that I contracted with had shut down, so I had to end up contracting with another one, and raising a family. You can imagine that caused quite a bit of anxiety and took a little toll on my personal well-being. But I have been able to come, more physically active here lately, and I can definitely reap the benefits, the positive effect that's causing. There for a while, I'd get in a routine, get myself pumped up and motivated. Hey, I want to work out, I want to lose weight. You know, like some people, that I know of personally, that they'll get into a habit and then they'll just drop out, make excuses. And I was one of those, always making an excuse, find a reason not to. I found myself one of the keys that's been helping me stick to it here lately is social support. And some of the studies we'd read about talking about social connections, how that's beneficial, because not only does that help against depression, anxiety, and other negative effects, but also helps you stay motivated. That's definitely helped me stay motivated. But that brings me into social support, which is one of the next topics I kind of want to touch base on. You know, it was said that social connection, was one of the big key, in achieving positive well-being. And as I mentioned earlier, well-being or support, sorry, has helped me in my weight loss goals, and actually it's helped me in my anxiety too. I'm been known to kind of keep to myself, and my wife encourages me to talk more. Of course, I guess that's one of the perks of being married. You gotta talk. And I was never really the best at communication, but since I've been married, that's something I've definitely worked on, and I've reaped the benefits of that too. I used to keep things balled up, and now that I've learned through her to express some emotions, and that's really helped me with a lot of things. As I mentioned, social support helps combat anxiety and depression, especially depression. I think you got someone that you can lean on and talk to, and just vent emotions and let them know how you're feeling. Outside of just family members and stuff, that makes a big difference. I found that just being in a social setting, gathering, improves my well-being, even if I'm going somewhere alone. After being married and having children, I tell you what, I sometimes prefer being alone. you know, Everyday stresses. Sometimes you just kind of need that alone time. And as I described earlier, I don't get much of that between some of the stuff I do on a daily basis. When I was younger, I couldn't imagine going out and out to eat or to a movie alone. And I tell you what, this past weekend, I finally got out and had my mom watch the kids, and while my wife was out of town, I went and watched Avengers. I recommend that, by the way. And I tell you what, that was that improved my well-being, because between fighting sinus infections here lately and school work and all that, it was just nice to get away, and that definitely improved well-being. Just getting out, didn't go with nobody, just being around people. I'm a pretty friendly person, I like to think, and I'll talk to anybody, and just talking about the movie, and I'm a big superhero nerd anyways, the way it is. So just getting out and talking about stuff like that, just really improving my well-being. That's some kind of personal experience here lately I wanted to mention. But just not doing things just alone. But as far as if you're married and have kids, it's definitely good to get out as much as you can, engage in social activities. Heck, take kids to the park or whatever. I've always said, that getting out and doing stuff, never let your marriage grow stale. Um, Help grow them bonds. And like I said, there's no substitute for making memories. And I cherish every minute I can get with my kids. But like I said, a little alone time never hurt nobody. Yeah, I was thinking about that study we read about choice overload, and that meta-analysis study that didn't find a strong support for the choice overload theory, but I personally believe it because having so many choices causes me some stress sometimes. And I've always loved cars, and when it comes to like picking one out or choosing, money not being an issue if that was the case, I tell you what, it's hard for me to choose, and I tell you what, I'd take them all if I had the money, but that's not the case. Having to narrow it down to choosing one, and hoping you don't regret your choice and all that. And as I've mentioned before, I've struggled with my weight, so obviously I like to eat. So going to a restaurant when there's lots of choices, be quite a headache. I find myself sometimes regretting, hey, I probably, man, seeing what somebody else got. Well, I wish I'd got that, or shoot, man, I'm stuffed. I should have got something a little bit healthier. I ate too much. And not just really necessarily the big decisions. Heck, it's creating this PowerPoint. There's so many different slides of how many things I wanted to go through, pictures to choose from. Sometimes I'll get frustrated in some of the choices, and I'll just be like, shoot, I can't even decide. I'll get frustrated. And reading about that in that study kind of brought back some memories of how I can get a little irritated sometimes if I've got too many choices, and I just quit thinking about it for the day and kind of move on and try to weigh the pros and cons of certain decisions, and that seems to help if I just stop, step back, and think about it for a second. And seems to help me, anyways. Some final thoughts I'd like to go through because I'm sure I've rambled off enough and probably talked y'all's ear off about random nonsense stuff. First presentation I've made like this, so a little nervous. So I've caught myself rambling a little bit. But some final thoughts, like I said, I'd like to talk about. If something I've thought about, especially since I started this course, is asking yourself, how often are you happy since taking this course? That's something you'd really thought about before taking this. How often are you happy on either a daily basis, weekly, monthly? Are you happy at all? It's, some people that might be harder to come by than others. And then have you ever asked, is there truly a way to be happy every day, or does it seem like life's too challenging to achieve that? Do you catch yourself, letting the little things in life get you down? I guess if I had to, leave some words of advice, sometimes easier said than done. Just be nice to others. I found that if I'm having a bad day and I'm out and someone's nice to me or trying to talk to me, it brightens up my day a little bit. And I try to pass that along. Because I believe that happiness is contagious. Like I said, having the worst day, just try to be courteous to others, be nice. That somebody else might be having a bad day too, and just put yourself in someone else's shoes. Um, and like the textbook we'd read, talked about, hey, I'll be happy when this happens, or I'll be happy when that happens. So don't postpone happiness, thinking you'll be happier later. I mean, there's no reason you can't be happy now. So, like I said, just my advice, just be nice to everybody, and like I said, happiness is contagious. So um, I'll leave up here with some references. Here's some of the studies we've read through in class here, and y'all have a blessed day. Thanks.